Hello, everybody. My name is Julie Kemp. I am pretty sure that I will not upload this video to my newly found YouTube channel because I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never done this before and I don't even know where to look, so it looks like I'm looking in the camera. So pretty sure not gonna happen. But in the event that I do decide to upload it, well, hi. I am a 45-year-old woman. I'm married. I have a home for the first time. I am a dog mom of 2 dogs who will probably start howling here in a minute because they're in their kennel. But more importantly than that, I am just your fellow sister here on planet Earth. I'm a recovering addict. I have been homeless by choice because of choosing to continue to drink and use drugs, and the bottoms that ensued from those choices of using drugs every day. I had bad things happen to me. I did bad things to other people, and I continued to live that way for a very long time. I have been in and out of jail. I have been to prison. I conducted my way on the streets in a manner no woman should, and I was completely broken at my bottom. My bottom lasted a long time, actually. I was suffering from something I'm self-diagnosing myself as drug-induced psychosis, meaning the chemicals that I was using, that I was injecting and smoking and snorting into my body, which I could go on the whole litany of it, but I don't. This isn't a drug-a-log. It's my story. So anyway, they obviously do some bad things to your brain, your personality, your psyche, your emotions, your spirituality, and all that stuff. And I was, for lack of a better term, fucking nuts. I do cuss. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but anyway then. So my bottom lasted a really long time. I started suffering from drug-induced psychosis early on. I would say probably in my mid-20s. I would have these delusions that one of them that I actually shared with my mom and her new husband, my stepdad now, I guess, was that I thought for like 2 or 3 years, for 2 or 3 years, I would get high and I would drink and I would not eat for days at a time, and I would just be up wandering around, the streets of Palm Beach County. And I thought that I was telepathic. Swear to God. I can laugh about it now, but it was really real. I'm sorry, I do not mean to sound insensitive, but like literally bad shit. Just nuts. And I do have friends who are on medication for schizophrenia and things like that, so I am sympathetic with that. But I'm musing mostly because this is drug induced. Like, I picked these things up, put them in my body, and this was the reaction that happened. So it was really scary. I was suicidal at times, which is not a laughing matter. I'm very blessed to be alive. I had laid down on train tracks before. I'd hear the train coming and I'd be like, oh, that's it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get there, and it's just gonna be it. It's gonna be lights out for me. And thankfully, I never got hit by a train. I had lost friends. One of my dear friends who, I say dear friends, but we were really using buddies, so I don't know how dear of a friend I was to her. But rest her soul, Dana, her name was Dana. She was a fellow homeless prostitute, and we used to do heroin and smoke crack together, and she didn't drink very much, but I drank a lot. I drank as much as I could all day if I could. And I was living in what they call a rooming house in West Palm, which is basically like like a 2-story house. I'm sure you have them other places, but for those people who never even heard of drugs or street life or prostitutes or heroin and crack and all that stuff, this is probably going to be like, what is this lady talking about? I'll try to break it down for you as quickly as possible so I don't lose you guys. I'm at 5 minutes already. But anyway, so a rooming house, basically a big house. Could be 2-story, could be 3-story, could be 1-story. You share a communal area, usually not a living room, but bathrooms, kitchens. Some houses have, living rooms and things like that. But this particular one, had bedrooms on the upstairs and the downstairs, and we shared the kitchen, and we did have a bathroom in ours. So anyway, there was about, I'd say 3 to 5 women that lived there over a period of probably 2 years, but my memory is kind of fuzzy from back then, so if you will. And she was one of them. She was one of them who would come in and out of there, and we would talk. I mean, I had a daughter. My daughter's 27. She's not here right now, but she's living back home with me for a little bit. She just came out of a bad breakup, and I'm sober. I'm clean and sober now, so I get to have my kid back in my life. Anyhow, our kids were young then, like toddlers, and I had abandoned my daughter at my mom's and at my grandmother's house. And that's not easy to admit, but in full disclosure to you, I'm just going to say it like that and move on for the sake of talking to you about Dana right now. But we will talk about Sarah later in another video if I continue. So anyway, Dana, we lost her. She was in and out of the hospital. She had like an infection on her heart. Sorry, I'm having a notification come on my phone right now. Sorry about that. An infection on her heart from injecting drugs. I want to say it was a staph infection around her heart. Anyway, so she had been in and out of the hospital for a while. And I remember talking to her, and she was kind of off on the deep end, and she was very depressed. I can remember she would rock back and forth quite a bit, which is a sign of mental illness. We all know. I used to do it too. I used, hold myself and just rock. And they found her, this rumor, and what the newspaper clipping says and what the people on the street say were different stories. But naked and in a dumpster. And to my knowledge, I have not done any investigating. I have my laptop here. I should probably look her up, but for the sake of this video right now, I won't. If I continue doing this, if someone asks me about it, I'll give an update about her. But to my knowledge, no homicide investigation was done or anything. To my knowledge, I'm not here to say that didn't happen, but rest in peace. And man, she didn't make it. She didn't make it. She was funny and feisty, and she was short. She was a little powerhouse, and nobody wanted to mess with her. But she was, she was like that. But I'm here to represent her in this thing. Drug-induced psychosis, not good. Yeah, we have mental obsession that makes us want to either drink or use, because I do believe I'm an alcoholic primarily because in my past I picked up alcohol first, and then as I began experimenting with other drugs, it started as a teenager with weed or coke and LSD and just all the other things. I don't want to get into all the drugs or anything, but the alcohol would induce a craving to, hey, I want to kind of loosened up my inhibitions a little and made me want to go party more. So it's a mental obsession followed by a physical craving. So like when you start, you just really can't stop. And the thing about the real, and I hate to even classify it like real hardcore addict and real hardcore alcoholic is well, the only difference is really the bottom and what is enough for you. Is it enough for you to lose your job or to have your wife threaten you with divorce? Or is it enough for you that you showed up late to work one day and your boss almost fired you? I mean, what's enough for you? And my enough nothing was ever enough. I kept going and going and going and going and going. And that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. That doesn't make me bigger, badder, or cooler than the person who it was enough for them that their wife told them, you need to stop. And they stopped, because that's brave and great. But people like Dana and I, we just went, man. We just went and we just wrote it. And we were just these broken, just these broken people, just looking for wherever it was that we belonged in the world. And it wasn't there. And it might not even be here either. I have a home and I'm happy and I'm beautiful and, you know, everything's great. And I think I'm beautiful. But at the end of it all, you know, this is a thing. I don't know. I don't want to question, is it the chicken or the egg? Did mental illness trigger a need to be an alcoholic or an addict? Or did the alcohol and the drugs trigger mental illness and suicidal tendencies? I'm not even here to debate that. It is whatever you say it is, and we're cool. But for me, they were friends, and they fed each other. I'm so grateful I'm clean and sober. I'm so grateful. I had a really rough time mentally recovering. I was lucky enough to go to prison. I was living on the streets of Gibsonton before I was arrested and sent to prison. And I think my drug-induced psychosis was at its worst then. I was really far removed from reality. I started having delusions about, you know, maybe the end of the world happened, or maybe I had superpowers, or maybe God was using me for some kind of mission he needed. And it was really bad. There were some times in Gibsonton in the, early, mid-2000s. I couldn't even tell you, because I was so animalistic back then. I mean, you know, we had little camps in the woods by the railroad tracks, and we sat on milk crates, and I bought new outfits at the dollar store and had bags of clothes stashed around. It was very real and raw and gritty, and that's where I was mentally. But there were times when I was living in Gibsonton that I don't know how people didn't just literally see me and be terrified of me, the way I must have looked. Just dirty, skinny, wild-eyed. I could only imagine what I look like, probably, you know, just going on. And when I do, you know, not to skip around so much, but this is you're gonna like me or you're gonna hate me for this. I'm gonna tell you right now. It pisses me off. Stop doing this. If y'all are doing this, stop it. We'll fight. I don't care. If y'all are taking videos of people high and whacked out and making fun of them, I've seen them with music to them. They irk, they jerk, they move around, they're scratching themselves. Yeah, sure. Oh, wow, they did some drugs. That's kind of whack. You want to pull out your camera and you want to take a video of it instead of calling 911 and being like, dude, there's somebody over here is freaking overdosing, or she's trying to gouge her eye out. She's trying to gouge her eye out. Can somebody send somebody over here, please? Oh my God, she's laying on the train track now. Can somebody please help this woman? Don't get me started. So anyway, I was that person. Maybe there is a video of me out there. Post it. So anyway, I don't know. Maybe I will share this video. It's 14 minutes long, but I just kind of wanted to introduce myself to you, and I'm going to go watch other people's videos on YouTube as well. I am new to YouTube. I mean, the only thing I've ever watched YouTube for is when I can't figure out how do I find my Wi-Fi password. I literally had to do something like that before I could get on YouTube and figure this out here. But I don't know. I guess I have a lot to say. I'm still pretty broken. And I think maybe talking to this camera here, my own little cell phone that's propped up on this cute little thing with this little light, is some kind of therapy for me. Maybe it's some kind of therapy for me, and that I need to rejoice in the fact that I am alive now. I'm alive. I was not alive before. So anyway, thanks. Have a great day. Wash your hands. Try to stay away from public places. Reach out to your higher power if you have a higher power. I wanted to mention that too. I did. I begged who I call God. I begged God a lot, especially at the end when I was living in Gibsonton. I call it the end because that's like when my awakening came, and the cops came and got me on a warrant, took me to jail, and I wound up in prison for 3 years. 3 years, not 2, 3. And I would pray. Okay, like it wasn't words, but it was like a thought, like, okay, Lord, I'm saying this, but my mouth is saying it to you so you can understand it. But it was really just sort of a subconscious thing between me and my higher power. And my thought was always, if I have to wake up, make this be gone. Like, make this different. I can't wake up and be this person. I can't wake up and be crazy and think I have superpowers and, you know, where am I going to go get my meth or heroin or whatever drug I was doing at the time from today? How am I going to come up with money so I could get a 4-pack so I could loosen up and go do this other stuff? Crazy stuff. And I prayed that prayer sincerely. Sincerely. I felt it so deep. And you know, the next morning, a knock came at the door of a trailer I was staying in, this old, sweet old black man named Sam. And the knock came at the door. Don't bark. No, you're not gonna bark. And he came, you know, down the hall, and he was like, gonna open the door. And I'm like, I said, Sam, I said, don't open the door, it's the cops. And he's like, I am so sick of you telling me not to open my door. My own door, because it's the cops. And he opened the door, and it's the cops. And I wasn't happy then. I was like, gosh dang it, I know it, you know. And I was drinking alcohol, and out of a plastic water bottle, I was smoking rolled up Rip cigarettes. I was probably figuring out what I was gonna do that day to how I'm gonna go get more drugs. And it changed my plans. It changed my plans. And I remembered that night before I was really serious, you know, and God did for me what I could not do for myself. And I'm glad them cops came, and thank you for coming. All right. I think that's enough out of me.